Every single operator in Siege is very unique. So in today's video, I want to go over some of my favorite mechanics with every single operator in Siege. Now, there are some operators I didn't mention. Let me know down in the comments what I might have missed and give me a tip for one of these operators. Thatcher's EMPs are super effective, but a lot of people don't know that you can actually throw EMPs above or around sites, and the radius is huge. For example, I'm going to throw an EMP on Oregon for elbow, and as you can tell, all three of these ADSs get burned. And just to show you another example, look at this. You can get anything around this radius. So no matter what, if you're pushing, you can just throw it and then rotate off. Ash has this very annoying interaction with Aruni, where say I wanted to rush this barricade right now, I would Ash charge to the top of the barricade, and look what happens. It burns the Aruni gate for some reason. When playing Glaz, you can actually see enemies that are on shield. This can be very useful, especially if you have a smoke grenade and say you smoke them off, and then you can fight them very aggressively and take map control. When playing Fuse, the way you place your Fuse gadget actually determines on how it goes off. For example, if I place it like this, it's going to go right to left, starting with the dining door right here. But if I go around and I do an entire like 180, it will actually go right to left. Now, why does this matter? Well, this could be the decider whether you get a kill or not. See how right now the main wall is muted right now? My favorite interaction with Thermite is you can actually bypass this just by rappelling up and placing it just a little bit until the mute jammer symbol at the bottom left goes away. And like this, you'll open up this entire area. Fauna is one of the strongest operators in Siege, and just for this exact reason. Over here on Clubhouse, it's very common to cade the hatch, and if you didn't know, you can actually in yourself just put a Hibana pellet right beside the hatch, and just like that, you'll destroy the cade claw off the hatch. This is my favorite interaction that for some reason is widely known but not used enough. Now, the reason why I think Callie is so underrated is because what you can actually do with her gadget. Callie's gadget isn't only meant for bandits or mute jammers or stuff like that to get stuff off walls. You can also do this really cool trick. With Callie, if you go at the start of a round and just use your Callie gadget on the barricade, you can actually destroy so much utility. As you can tell, I can clear all this util very early on in the round. Probably my favorite interaction with Jackal is probably the uniqueness of the footprint colors. As you can tell, red means that they're super close or it was very recent. Yellow means that it was like a little bit of a while ago, but it is still pretty recent. And the final colors are green/blue. This is very, very helpful because if, let's say, it's green, then you know that it's been a while and they can still be close, but it's been a while since they moved. Probably my favorite interaction with Zofia is the ability to be able to clear rooms just by using a Zofia stun. For example, if I stun out this area right now, there's a very delayed impact that goes off because the castle's right here. And if it doesn't go off right away, that means nobody's in that surrounding area. But let's move castle into the B-bomb, and just like that, it goes off immediately, so I know that someone's in there and I should be aware of that. Ying is probably one of the most misused operators in Siege, and that's because people like to just grab her flashes and just throw them down hallways and go off of that. But you can get really strategic and play off your teammates if you tell them that you're going to Ying, let's say, above or a barricade. And if you didn't know, you can Ying walls, floors, just like fuse charges. It's a lot more effective than just throwing it, in my personal opinion. Osa has this really cool interaction with Aruni gates, which you can actually burn them. Now, as you can tell, on this type of door, since it's very outward and wide, I'm not actually able to. And that's probably most doors on coastline. But as you can tell, this next mudroom door, you're actually able to burn it just by using the shield. It is quite weird. I don't know why on some door frames it works and why on others it just doesn't, but yeah, it's my favorite interaction. Zero is one of my favorite operators in Siege, and he's also one of the operators that are probably most difficult to get the full value out of his package. Pause. I feel like a lot of people underestimate how good outside cams can be for Zero, especially on a map like Canal. You can get some really good cutoff cams outside the building. As you can tell, there's one right here. We all know this window that looks right into server. You would think that these are very niche cams, but this is some very common cutoff areas which allow you to see both sites, and this can be very helpful just late round. Capitao is another operator that is just so underused, and he's every team's wet dream when you have a good Capitao. So a good example of good usage of Capitao is you can get some really cool plays out of Capitao just from smoking below. As you should know, Capitao smokes go through floors even if it's hard cement. So this could be really good, especially if you're just trying to pinch out enemies or just block any vision. For example, if you have somebody jumping in 90 on canal, then you can just smoke off this green area, and then they can force this Ella to either have to push up or just get her out of position overall. One of my favorite niche uses for Twitch is being able to throw both of my drones and then move them just by going forward. Now, usually you want to go on a tighter, drone area, but this will also save you so much time of having to drone in, and then you can just get stuff off, and then if they go to shoot one drone, you can go ahead and just bring it in and then destroy whatever you're trying to destroy. This is really good, especially against mirrors. With IQ, you're able to get so much information, and if your teammates don't find the bomb, you can actually just pull out your IQ scanner and find it immediately. But take it one step further. If you actually want to pull it out and find anybody that's on cams, you can actually go under, above, wherever, and at the top right of your screen, when you have your IQ scanner out, it'll have a little phone, which means that it's a cam, and it means someone's on the cam. Versus if you were to point it at, let's say, a default cam or whatever. And I don't know if this always has been a thing, but it's just something I've recently noticed, is that it actually gives you identification of what you're aiming at. When running Blackbeard, put iron sight on so you can ADS a lot quicker. When playing Maverick, and if you need to get a hatch, there isn't a specific area or shape that you need to do in the hatch. The hatch actually has an HB system. So as long as you're burning and just basically killing the hatch, quote unquote, and burning the health that the hatch has, you can open the hatch very easily and safely without exposing your body way too much. If you guys didn't know, with Flores, you can actually pick up your drone. So notice how I just threw one down and it's running into the wall? This isn't the only thing you can do with Flores. You ever been in a situation where you throw your Flores drone and it gets muted? Guess what? You can go up and pick it up as well. Now this one is a little bit niche and hard to execute, but if you go up to a wall and you punch it a bunch of times, you can actually get the drone to ride up the wall and then explode it and destroy utility. And for some reason I just got the red default cam, if you guys didn't know. That's there, and you can do so much with this. You can literally just mess around with it and let your creative juices flow, but this is like a really fun way to use Flores. Now if they have a cav or something, then you might be screwed, but I don't know, it's cool. The only really unique mechanic with Tachanka is probably the ability for lineups. So with Tachanka, you can do some really weird lineups that will allow you to contest some parts of the map. Now, you're really going to have to go in custom games and get some lineups down, or just go on TikTok. I'm going to show you one for snowmobile. See this ash outside the snowmobile garage? Basically, my pellets will land right in front of the breach. And basically, you can just shoot a pellet, and as you can tell, this is going to land right in front of ash. It's, once again, very silly. Now, it does take quite a while to land, but yeah, if they get a plant down and you want to maybe get somebody off the Osa shield or something like that, you can just do that. But this is, once again, very niche, very silly, but it is a cool mechanic that you can try to use. Now, my favorite mechanic with Castle is the ability to 8-hit. Now, what 8-hitting is basically prepping the barricade, so when you hit it once or when your teammates hit it once, you can basically swing out and kill the enemy. For example, you're going to want to do this on the sides of the barricade. The reason why is because, as you can tell, when I hit the barricade once, it doesn't show a mark, But if I hit it beside it, it's going to have this hole. And this is just a good sign that it's going to be a prep barricade. So the enemies will be aware of that and they'll try to take advantage of it. So I hit it 2 times, as you can tell. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, once you hit it 8 times at the bottom right and not, you know, in the open again on the white part, you can go ahead and use it to play super aggressive. And this is great because if somebody starts droning because they think they're safe because there's a castle barricade, you can just go ahead and run out and get an easy frag. With Osa, you're able to place your 2 Osa shields, one upside down on a window and the other just outside normally. And you can get this silly one-way angle and it's super hard to fight.
That's the clash. Just jumping on him.
They're trolling.
While playing Echo, one of my favorite ways to use Echo is actually using drone holes and droning outside. The reason being is because you actually have 10 seconds to maneuver your drone around, and this makes it easy to play super aggro and jump out and get some free kills. Even though Oryx just got buffed, he still feels very useless in a lot of ways, but on the Mac Cafe on Upstairs Bar, you can actually use your Oryx dash to quickly set up site very easily instead of having to use shotguns to open up these bar areas, as you can tell. When playing Goyo, you can make it literally impossible for anybody to drone any drone holes just by placing your Goyo canisters in drone holes. Not only that, but if your teammates aren't holding the other side of the map or you have a gap, you can go ahead and just throw a barricade down and throw a Goyo canister down. And what happens is if the enemies try to shoot down or when they have to break the barricade, you'll have information from wherever they're pushing, especially if you put it head level, because if they punch it, it will immediately go off one hit. If you didn't know, with Solis, you can actually use her ability to see Blitz. And the cool thing is you can see Blitz no matter what. You have literally a live information of where he's pushing. And it's not just because he's flashing, but because his shield literally has electronic on it. And it's something a lot of people don't know. With Fenrir, you can throw your devices outside, and it can be very effective, especially for repelled areas. For example, right here on Bank on the palm trees. If you guys enjoyed this video and you found something helpful or just new, let me know down in the comments. And if you made it this far into the video, comment down below Anafex's left toenail is pink, just so I know who made it to the very end. Besides that, guys, have a wonderful day and thank you so much for watching.